name, and let's get into our conversation. And so we are aware that extra ministerial nominees, 19 of them, were sent into the Senate for screening. And the screening exercise has been on for a couple of days now, began on Monday, and several reactions have greeted the exercise. I'll play an excerpt for about two of them that was very interesting to many Nigerians that people have been talking about. And one of them was that for the Sokoto nominee, and El-Rufai, who was also screened, and one of the lawmakers raised a certain petition, and how that was handled and the response that was given by the Senate president also caused a lot of Nigerians to begin to ask questions. And at the end, of course, the take a bow phrase was applied. Now, if you are to go by what has been said so far, I think from the first day, about 9, if I'm not mistaken, 9 various nominees had the take a bow phrase used for them. They benefited from it. One would include the former governor of Rivers State, among others, that had that done for them. 9 out of 14 nominees that were screened, they were asked to take a bow and go without subjecting them to questions. And even for those who had certain questions asked and, well, perhaps did not answer satisfactorily, Nigerians still were not very comfortable with the fact that some of them at the end were still even asked to take a bow. This was after the first day of screening. Okay, so let's listen to, first we start with what had transpired during the screening of Bello Mohammed, who is a minister nominee from Sokoto State. This was the conversation between himself and the Speaker of the President of the Senate.
Election. You are not coming to stand for election. You are coming to be a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So which are the other certificates you concealed? Which are the other certificates that you did not put in your CV?
Excellency, sir, the certificate of secondary school is there and other certificates of other qualifications are there. What he is asking me is, I sat, my first sitting was secondary school certificate with 2 credit passes. And what I'm trying to say is that I have sat for another examination and I have passed, but I don't want to attach another qualification because
okay, so you heard it was the response of Bello, Mr. Bello, to the Senate president, and you could hear in the background some members of the House who were not satisfied with his response. But at the end of the day, he was asked to take a bow and then bring those missing documents later. And that caused a lot of people to respond. And the reactions still coming in even till this moment. Some of the questions people are asking would be, well, there's nowhere in the world you go for a job and during the interview you would say, you chose which documents you were going to bring and tell them you didn't bring the other documents because of these reasons or that reason. If you remember, in the case of Mohammed Bello, one of the lawmakers had noticed that he had just 2 credits. And I mean, we know the minimum requirements, 5 credits if you were to get into the university here in this country, but he had 2 credits. So he was asking, how did you then manage to go through school and get to where you are now? And that was what built up to that conversation and the response that you heard. Some people think that should have led to a disqualification. Okay, before we go further, this is from El-Rufai, former FCT minister and governor as well. This was what also happened during his screening.
But I should inform you that I've received petitions from many other people in respect of other nominees. But this is not where we are to deal with petitions. Our job here is to screen. And then, of course, we can refer petitions to where petitions will be dealt with. These are the nominees of Mr. President. If it is something that is a formal petition before the Senate, who will look at it formally. But there are certain petitions we have to refer back to either the presidency or security agencies to look at, and that has nothing to do with us. So I think by the time we are going into the issue of confirmation and approval, we will be so advised. So I will want to plead with my brother to take a bow.
Now, that was the response that was given by the Senate President to the situation regarding El Rufai. Now, there are several others. I mean, I've listed about 9 others that occurred, but these 2 stood out for many people. And there's also the question that has been asked, which is, how would you even screen these nominees when there is no portfolio attached to their names? So I was looking at the exercise and I noticed it was basically about their credentials, what they have done before, and questions around several aspects of the country's economy and issues facing the country, and what they think would be right to handle some of these issues, or solutions that could possibly help solve some of those issues. That became what the whole session was about, as against specific strategic questions that would have been directed to a particular nominee based on the ministry that's attached to their name. Well, that aside, I had a conversation over the phone with a lawmaker as well, Dawari Pepo, and he had certain things to say with regards to the process, the use of the take a bow phrase, and also the questioning of minister nominees without a portfolio attached to their names. And let's listen to what he had to say. It was my conversation with Dawari Pepo.
The screening is ongoing, so if you can share with us your thoughts as a lawmaker yourself. Many have questioned the take a bow comments that have been made by members of the Senate with regards to screening of the ministerial nominees. When is this take a bow phrase applicable, and who can benefit from it?
Oh, well, the take a bow phenomenon is under parliamentary procedure. But the essence of screening is to be able to extract assurances that the appointee has the competence to do the job that the Mr. President, will want him to do. Within the parliamentary system of recent, they will say if you have been a senator, then when you come for screening, you should take a bow. No, that is not true. To be a minister is a totally different thing from being a senator. As a senator, you are just you're a lawmaker, not just. You're a lawmaker, but to be on the executive side, you should show competence as to implementation of laws and budgets.
In other words,
and so to me, yes.
Yeah, in other words, you're saying for those people who perhaps would say maybe you served as a lawmaker in the State Assembly and now you want to be a minister, the take a bow phrase is not applicable to them?
Oh, it's not generally applicable. I'll put it that way. It's not generally applicable. It's not because I've been a lawmaker before. Probably while still dead, Mr. President wants to appoint me as a minister, and I accept and I come for screening. There should be proper screening as to my competence.
But then questions have been raised now because portfolios were not attached to these minister nominees. What then would the Senate, the House be screening?
That is why screening without a portfolio attached is more or less you just speculate. Because if you want to ask, a nominee questions, on what basis? What do you tie your questions to? The standard thing is when the executive seeks for legislative approval on any nominee, they should attach the portfolio so that the lawmakers will be able to screen that candidate with particular reference to that portfolio. In Nigeria today, we just have a case of putting a round peg in a square hole. It doesn't work.
And cases where during the screening, sorry to interrupt you, we had some petitions, like for instance, in the case of El-Rufai, and certain questions that were raised for some other nominees with regards to their credentials. In such cases, what would you say should be done, in your experience as a lawmaker?
That, in my own opinion,
yes,
if anything that is doubtful is established about a nominee, he stands disqualified from being approved. There is no other way we can look at it. There is no other way we can take it. If there is an issue that the candidate has not addressed properly, it means he's not qualified. Somebody coming to tell you that he has two credits, WAEC, and yet claims to be a graduate. The question is, first of all, how did you get admitted with 2 credits? Now, there are other certificates that I would have shown and so on. Comes up. That is absolutely nonsense. Because you're coming before a legislature, you should come prepared. And so even the concession of let him bring his certificate letter should not apply. It's just that some legislature would want to be seen more of executive than a legislature.
All right.
Otherwise,
we have to interrupt you here, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. You heard the lawmaker speaking and his thoughts on practically most questions that a lot of us have been asking, and many people will continue to ask, and even how he felt some of the situations that came up during screening for a few of the nominees should have been handled. Now, we would want to know what you think after listening to all of this. On Facebook, it is Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. On Twitter, it is Nigeria Info PH. We had earlier plans of having the former Deputy Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Leye Kwani, with us, but unfortunately he had other matters to attend to and he had sent in his apologies, so we couldn't have him here with us in the studio. But not to worry, you heard from Dawari Pepo and his views about these sort of issues and how to go about them. So on Facebook, let us get your thoughts. How impressed are you with the ongoing minister nominee screening exercise at the National Assembly? Let us know what you think on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. On Twitter, Nigeria Info PH. The WhatsApp number is 0809 030 6416. 0809 030 6416 is the WhatsApp number. You can send in your thoughts, and we'll also open the phone lines shortly to get your comments coming in and let us know your reception towards the screening exercise. He said clearly that the take a bow phrase that we have come to get used to, and it's almost now a tradition, does not apply when you are to a minister coming into government and you have to be screened. It doesn't apply whatsoever. There's no law of any nature. But then this is what we see. Saturday Akban on Facebook, I'll take some of those comments first, says ministerial nominee with 2 credit pass but a graduate asks the Senate to take a bow and go. Welcome to Nigeria. Choma Kinsley Wallu says yes for now because they've not changed the rules of the House. Asama Omosimwa says, watching from Akure, Ondo State. Okay, we need a minister who can handle these key sectors of the economy, education, finance, and agriculture. Okay, Chile Edwin says, this is the beginning of the failure of this government, as these former governors are responsible for the problems bedefiling the country. Okay, more comments coming in. This person on says, yes, you are so far comfortable with the process. Another one here says, I'm trying to get this message out. Okay, Anthony Unjoku says, Tinubu with 47 ministerial nominees breaking records. Well, that's also a new record set, 47. The last was 45 or 43 from the past administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Under this administration, 47 is what we have now. It's a new record for ministers. Whether all of them will be approved or some of them would be disapproved of by the Senate is another conversation altogether, because I mean, you already know at the moment eyebrows are being raised already, and you know Nigerians would be watching to see what the lawmakers would do with regards to some of this. You even heard the Senate president say in the case of El-Rufai, this is not a place for looking at petitions. We are here to screen. And some would ask, what is the screening then if there is certain petitions raised against the person that is not that should be looked at? And from what Dawari people had said, it simply would mean that that is enough reason to say this person is disqualified. Perhaps they should go and answer that petition and sort out that problem before they should be reconsidered. Well, let's take a very short commercial now. As soon as we return, we open the phone lines and get your thoughts. Stay tuned. Lines, we want to hear from you. You heard from the guest on the show this morning. The question for you is whether you're impressed with the ongoing screening of ministerial nominees. What are your thoughts from the take a bow syndrome that we've had and some other, what I call mild drama that has been witnessed in the screening process so far? Let us know on the number 0817-923-0003. 0817-923-0003. 0817-923-0007. Some more messages on Facebook Live. Hector Chris says, I've observed that a lot of these ex-governors cannot succeed without power. Their life is not complete without being in government or very close to the ruling government, so they do everything possible to continue. Otavia Andy Godson says, the ministerial nominees are friends to those in power. The Senate screening, the nominees are biased and in favor of their former colleagues. Someone says, I'm not impressed at all. I thought I would have seen nominees without black spots, but unfortunately it seems like they are just being compensated. Mianye sent that one. UKJ Umbamadu says, please, why do we have things going from left to right in this country? We swear the president into office before confirming he's the winner of the election, screening individuals for ministerial posts without portfolio, asking individuals to take a bow and bring their CVs after they've been hired. It's a really serious problem in this country. Muriel is in Okrika. We'll start from there. Hello, Muriel. Good morning.
Efemi, good morning. Thank you.
Yes, Muriel.
A woman on the line.
Go on.
You see, Efemi, when you use the word impressed, I want to believe to me it seems like a movie. After watching this movie, am I impressed with the movie? What do I think? Look, Efemi, we are talking about the lives of over 200 and what we don't even know how many we have because there's no census. Look, Efemi, a person like El-Rufai without credentials, he has credentials, but these credentials are not even enough to even, that his certificate is not even enough to take him to the university, and you just screen him like that and ask him to take a bow and say me what is happening in the country. And for the fact that portfolios are not attached to them, a person like El-Rufai, you cannot ask him, okay, this is the portfolio that has been attached to you, these are the challenges we are having in this particular ministry, in this sector. How can you offer solutions to this sector? You cannot ask any of them these questions. You just say them to take a bow, they will just come, just talk randomly, and they will leave this place. And while we have challenges in all the sectors of this country, so we cannot ask people, we cannot give people responsibilities based on competence, based on solutions they can provide to these sectors. What are they doing, Efemi? This thing they are doing is absolutely wrong. At the end of the day, when they give them these portfolios and they fail, we cannot hold them to anything that, okay, this is what you said you were going to do, you did not do it. Why did you not achieve this when you asked us? We cannot hold them to anything. They'll just come and say they didn't make any promises and they will leave. This drama that is happening in this country has to change, Efemi. We need solutions. So many, what is happening in the country is beyond. I can't imagine that President Tinubu will, even up to now, against people, assign that you just send people on an errand without telling them where you're going. Just move.
All right, let's go to Obed. Let's go to Obed in OGRA. Obed, let's get your thoughts on the ongoing ministerial nominee screenings. What do you think? Are you impressed?
Thank you, Andrew. Good morning.
Yes.
Andrew, I'm not impressed. You see, we have remained in visual purpose because of the same kind of system. Any leader can come in, just hold the same path. There is no change. And what we are doing is
Obed, you would have to call us back. We can barely hear you. Maxine is in Port Harcourt town. Hello, Maxine. Good morning.
Good morning, Jimmy.
Talk to us.
How are you?
Yes, very fine, thank you.
You see, I just try the best I can to ensure I do not use foul languages or disambiguous leaders. But I try the best I can, Femini. Because when you look at the scenario of things, it's just painful. It's very, very painful. It's like these people don't have the interest on Nigeria that have. They are only care for their pocket. How can you bring ministers? Okay, if you look at it, that you don't ask them questions. You don't ask them their responsibility, what they can do. No question, not to take it. What's the nonsense bound is that? What's the nonsense bound is that? Okay, now look at the petition I originally identified. Somebody who knew, people knew that El-Rufai is supposed to be charged for counter speech. I don't know what they call it. Is it what they call it? Is it terrorism or what?
Well, you can't say.
He gave a speech against what Buhari had spoken. This man still went to this place and gave another counter speech, counter broadcast, countering the whole places of the country. And that man is allowed walking free on the street of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. And he's been appointed again as a minister, nominated as a minister, and they are about to screen him. Say, what a country, Femini. Do you have a law? Do you have a law in this country?
Yes, we do.
So what they attack automatically, you don't even charge them to fly. And then what it is, actually he owns the country. But if they start on enough by now, they'll have checked them out. If they start on by now, they'll have checked that person by now.
Okay, Maxine, I don't think we should bring tribalism into this. Because, I mean, if you must know, it was a senator from the South who pointed out the situation with Bello Mohammed, who had 2 credits. Yeah. So I don't think it's a thing of tribe. It's just a set of lawmakers that we hope would be able to do their job effectively. And one thing they all have in common is they're all politicians. And that's where we are. Obed in Old GRA. Good morning.
Yes, Andrew. Is it clear now?
Yes, go on quickly. So what?
Yes, Andrew, what I was saying, I thought ordinarily that we would have said a different thing at the emergence of Tinubu as the president. But to my greatest amazement, it remains the way it is over the years. I mean, how will you appoint somebody and you did not allocate a lot portfolio? I mean, especially at this critical time of our economy, where questions ought to be asked on the basis of the manner, how the portfolio has been allotted to them. They ask them questions on that very aspect. But you go there, more or less a political compensation. That is what I'm seeing there. I'm not seeing anything different. It's just a political compensation, and you go there, and we continue that way. And we have remained like this. It's fortunate. And the same Senate president who in this 2015, when Amechi Saga, there was a petition. He was among the people that walk out and his confirmation of Amechi because he was not satisfied. The same man is coming up when people raise issues, concern issues. He will tell the nominee to take a bow and go. Where are we going in this country? Why can't we experience different things? The same kind of things over and over again, and yet we are expecting change. Andrew, from the beginning of the emergence of this administration, I have made up my mind that nothing will change. Nothing. The renewal is a renewed suffering.
All right, Obed, thank you very much. Let's go to Alakaya now. Andy, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Andrew.
Yeah, good morning, Andy. Go ahead.
I'm not surprised with what I'm saying because the entire system is spoiled. Like from the nominees, why are they giving them ministerial nominees without portfolios, attaching portfolio to their nominations? So how is the screening even going to be proper? Because what are we screening them for? What questions are they going to answer? What are they going to tell us that they'll be capable of doing in a particular sector? And this bow they are taking, they should be careful so that they will not go and hit their head on the ground where they are taking bow. Because everybody is just taking bow, whether you're qualified or not. No competency is being shown to what they are going to do. So personally, I'm not even expecting anything from them. I'm not having high expectation because from the presidency, the system is not okay. Thank you.
All right, Andy. Paul is in Paramo. Hello, Paul.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, morning to you.
Yeah. Please, I'm not surprised the way the Senate are handling this senatorial. When during the election, some of us supported and abated the way they enter into power. So why are we now surprised and bothered? So they just go ahead and do their selection. We shouldn't be complaining because we accepted everything from the onset. That is my take.
All right, thank you very much. I think keep the calls coming in. We're still taking some of your calls, more of your calls rather. But then I need to tell you something that was said by Senator Abdulaziz Yari while he was trying to defend the take a bow phrase. That is something that is now what almost a tradition. I think I would have to play back what Senator Dawari Peppel had said about it again before I go on to what Senator Abdulaziz Yari said while he was trying to defend it. So let's listen to this from Dawari Peppel.
Has the competence to do the job that the president, Mr. President, will want him to do. Within the parliamentary system of recent, they will say if you have been a senator, then when you come for screening, you should take a bow. No, that is not true. Because to be a minister is a totally different thing from being a senator. As a senator, you are just a you're a lawmaker, not just. You're a lawmaker, but to be on the executive side, you should show competence as to implementation of laws and budgets.
In other words,
and so to me, yes.
Yeah, in other words, you're saying for those people who perhaps would say maybe you served as a lawmaker in the state assembly and now you want to be a minister, the take a bow phrase is not applicable to them?
Oh, it's not generally applicable. I'll put it that way. It's not generally applicable. It's not because I've been a lawmaker before. Probably while still dead, Mr. President wants to appoint me as a minister and I accept and I come for screening. There should be proper screening as to my competence.
But then...
So you heard there, Dawari Peppel saying, perhaps if you are a lawmaker at the state assembly and you are to become a lawmaker at the national assembly, maybe they can tell you take a bow because, well, you've been already making laws at the state level, and if you are to become a member of the House of Representatives or a senator, it's from the same thing. We could say, okay, take a bow. But if you want to be a minister, which puts you into the executive arm of government, it's a whole different ball game, and proper screening should be done. Take a bow, which is not an official rule. From what he has said, should not apply. It's something that has become a tradition by members of the House who do that for other members of the House, perhaps coming from the State Assembly to the National Assembly, but not as a minister. Well, defending this, Senator Abdulaziz Yari said the significance of the tradition shouldn't really draw the criticism that it is drawing now. He was speaking in a meeting with the vice president at the presidential villa, and it said that it serves to honor distinguished individuals who have dedicated their lives to the nation's service. That is his defense, to honor those distinguished individuals. He also emphasized that the practice is reserved for those with notable track record or significant contributions to the country, a testament to their commitment and expertise. So he was clarifying that this is why the Senate, when necessary, would conduct thorough interrogation to ensure that the best possible candidate is appointed. But then the take a bow phrase is usually used for this kind of situations. I don't know what you think about his defense, but that is his position to it, and some would agree, some might not, but that is what has been said by a member of the Senate. Eze is in Abali in Omagwa. Eze Abali in Omagwa, good morning. All right, let's go to Robin in Echie. Hello, Robin, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. It's
okay, go ahead.
Happy President Working Day.
Go on.
You see, in spite of any explanation, after Aziz, the guy is trying to put up to Nigerians, for me, it's neither here nor there. And even if anyone says that Nigerians voted for Tinubu or did not vote for Tinubu, that is not the topic. After all, himself, one of his speech after he was declared, he said, I know that majority of you did not vote for me. He said so. But that's not the topic still. What the National Assembly is displaying, for me, I am not surprised. If you recall the issue of Senate presidency, the heat that it generated, what did Senator Akpabio, who now happens to be the Senate president, what did it imply to Nigerians? That he should not be judged as a minister for Niger Delta. Because the flaw and the shame he brought upon Niger Delta as regards this enemy on the road. A man who knows he has shortcomings is pleading, please don't judge me. Why are they not going to judge you? The same way they are to judge those nominees at the National Assembly upon screening. Look at the way a senior president is speaking as if he's talking to kindergartens. As if it's a playwright that is going on in a theater hall. National Assembly of Federal Republic of Nigeria. But my view and my take that we should continue to talk and we'll continue to talk. Let me remind them, Nigerian politicians, that the former military head of state, Babangida, warned them before the election that they should tread with caution, that the way they are going and the way they are doing, let them continue to wear their Bavarica. A day will come when they will not have access to that car, they will touch their fingerprint and they will move. They will not find their driver to drive them. They will not find any security man to go
about Robin, them. Let's go to Omuma now. Kingdom is on the line. Thank you very much, Robin. Kingdom, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, go on, Kingdom.
If you mean the shenanigans that is going on in the field, the take bar of the ritual of taking a bar, any person that will come, they say take a bar, any person that will come, that will take a bar, is clear indication to show to Nigerians that we have a rubber stamped 10th National Assembly. Because a ministerial position is a critical one considering the current reality we have in this country, Nigeria. You see any ministerial nominee that will come, apart from the Senate President will say, honorable member, take it back. Meanwhile, a Senate ought to be where checks and balance should be. Where you ask the people the question, you have been on this, you have been on this, well, no. What can you offer following the current economic reality we have in this country? And these people have been appointed for political settlement. From the ministerial nominees I've seen, Nigeria will not make any headway with it. Because all the President Tinubu did was to just settle his people, those that work for him. But for Nigerians voting for ministers that was not properly scrutinized, to bring something on the table to offer to Nigerians to ameliorate the suffering we are suffering today, I think all of them there in the ministerial nomination are going there to reap back what they have done to Mr. President, not for Nigerians.
Okay, let's go over to SAS Road now. Andy, good morning.
Yeah, Ifemi, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Go on.
Yeah, I think so many persons have spoken, and your platforms and other platforms in this your radio station, at least I've made 1 or 2, 3 times telling people that our politicians, what they want to do is always to bring up things on air to the view of people, masses, and why they keep on talking about it, their tenure will be running. And as I'm talking to you, they have just brought another one which we are talking about now. But I thank God for the masses
who will always not be put off and will always know what to do. But my advice is this: let Nigerians continue to do the needful and forget about these associations of these politicians. They were not good before, but now they are good. They were not taking a bow before, but now they are taking a bow. So I want to urge everybody, let us keep talking. Just like somebody has said, if you are tired over a thing, definitely you have been defeated. We know what is right and we know what is wrong. Democracy is not only practiced in Nigeria. It is done outside elsewhere. Some persons will come and tell us that the romancing and the practice of Nigeria is different from another place. That democracy is not dynamic. Keep speaking the English for us. But I want to urge Nigerians, keep it up. Why House of Assembly, State House of Assembly, they should keep on deceiving themselves.
All right, good news. Good news in Port Harcourt. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Okay, go ahead.
There's something I want us to correct, brother. Yes, we're talking. We don't say politicians. There are politicians who are politically politicians, and there are politicians who are politically state-minded persons. Not all of them is bad. I am a young politician, green politician. I am not a bad person. Let us talk about individuals who hold positions that have been bad with their histories. For example, we have the National President Senate, and people complain about how the Senate the power and go and not scrutinizing those persons. Number one, we are here that the president nominated some names. I used to believe somewhat, but now, for me, it is obvious that most persons who have been nominated into the office of the ministerial positions will not do well based on their incidents. They only hype the media, use the media to deceive the media, but they don't have what it takes, and the Senate have refused to screen them, ask them multiple questions. They say, what is your name? Can you tell us your name? And then please take a bow and go. And then it's the call. This is where we all on our generators, because they like to watch the ministers, know what they can do. But my point is that they should show all politicians. We have wicked and bad politicians, and there are good ones.
All right, good news. Thank you very much. We get your point clearly. But this is where it's even more interesting. They should be screened, but how then? The ones that were even interrogated and asked questions, what kind of questions were they asked? Well, if you didn't get it, this was what Dawari people had to say about it, which is a major concern for people. How then can we effectively analyze the capabilities of these individuals if there isn't any portfolio attached to their names, and they're just nominees? And what they do, if you go follow the process, is to talk about their certificates and what they've done before, and that's it. And that is what members of the Senate would scrutinize and look at whether there are any irregularities in their documents, and then they ask you general questions as to, this is what the country is going through. What are your thoughts and what do you think? All of those. Let's hear what he had to say.
The president wants to appoint me as a minister, and I accept, and I come for screening. There should be proper screening as to my competence.
But then questions are raised now because portfolios were not attached to these minister nominees. So what then would the Senate, the House be screening?
That is why screening without a portfolio attached is more or less you just speculate, because if you want to ask a nominee questions, on what basis? What do you tie your questions to? The standard thing is when the executive seeks for legislative approval of any nominee, they should attach the portfolio, so that the lawmakers will be able to screen that candidate with particular reference to that portfolio. In Nigeria today, we just have a case of putting a round peg in a square hole.
All right, so there you have it from lawmaker Senator Dawari Pepo, and his thoughts about how then do we even screen properly when the portfolios were not attached to the names of these Nominees. Well, quickly, a few of the messages on WhatsApp. So this one says, it took the president 4 months and 27 days after he was declared winner before he sent the first list. Mr. Andrew convinced me that the president doesn't have an idea where these nominees are to be placed. If he nominated only 37, that's also a question that was raised. After waiting for that long, we had the list split in two. Text from Oyigbo. Good morning. The take about phrase is a semblance of the corruption mentality, just like the off the mic phrase that we had. Godwin Chooks from Erema community sent that one in. This person says, take about the culture of screening in Nigeria, be it Rivers or Nigeria, or how many times have we questioned the same scenario in the state? Well, I think the questioning has gone all round, but then, like, if you listen to what Abdulaziz Yari even said, was it's become a tradition. But then if you listen to now my guest Awari Pepo, who had said there's no law of any kind that establishes that. If perhaps you were a lawmaker and you are going into the capacity of a lawmaker, perhaps that could apply because it's within the same field. But beyond that, well, there's nothing that says you should take a bow. You should be properly screened. This one says, I'm impressed with the ministerial screening. After all, we've been made to be swallowing these bitter pills and smiling for years. So all we must do now is to be impressed. Well, there you have it on the show this morning. Thank you very much. We'll wrap things up here. Hello Port Harcourt follows afterwards. Keep your comments coming in on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH.